This video is brought to you by box.co.uk, Birmingham-based retailer that stocks over 50,000 products that are supplied throughout the UK. Hello everyone, this is Imran from Gaming Till Disconnected, and today we're going to be looking at the LG 34UC97 Curved UltraWide monitor. A few months ago, we took a look at the LG 34UM95 UltraWide Display, a high-quality 21:9 ratio monitor, which we liked. So in this review, we're going to be looking at its curvy alternative, better known as the LG 34UC97 Curved UltraWide. Along with the monitor, you can expect to find a DisplayPort cable, a HDMI cable, a power cord and adapter, CD and literature to get you started, and a detachable stand with a few screws to attach said stand to the monitor. You'll also find a cover to hide the I/O ports, and a cover to hide the screws of the stand. The 34UC97 has a black and chrome design that is front-facing, while the back is a silver grey, with the chrome LG logo in the centre anchored towards the top. Being a 34-inch monitor, it's going to be taking up a sizable portion of your desk. This isn't really a complaint, but more something to make you aware of the dimensions. The monitor is lifted about 10 cm off the desk thanks to the stand, but as far as height adjustments go, this is the only option you have, unless you attach it to an arm, but we'll talk more about this in a bit. Personally, this wasn't a problem, and I don't think it will be for the vast majority of people. However, you are able to tilt the monitor back and forth to make it more comfortable for you. While we're on the subject of the stand, there is a slight wobble that was concerning to begin with, although unless you're planning to rock your table, this isn't going to be an issue. Due to the triangular formation of the stand and the sheer weight of the monitor, the 34UC97 is sturdy and stays in place quite securely. Going back to the monitor, you'll notice that the I/O ports are hidden away by a cover. That gives the back of the monitor a clean look. But removing the cover will reveal the on-off switch, power connector, a 3.5mm headphone port, HDMI ports, a display port and Thunderbolt ports. There's also 3 USB 3.0 ports that can turn this monitor into a USB hub, allowing you to connect peripherals to the back of the monitor and control your PC. This feature may prove more beneficial for those wanting to keep their tower off the desk and not have a bunch of cables appearing and disappearing from the back of said desk. From this view and my earlier statement about attaching the monitor to an arm, you may be wondering where the Vesa mounting points are, but don't worry too much as there's an adapter that attaches to the hinge, allowing you to connect a 100mm Vesa mount for attaching it to your wall or connecting it to a desk arm. You'll have to get this Vesa mount adapter from LG after you've purchased the monitor itself. LG have informed us that in most cases this is sent to you free of charge, so if you are planning on mounting the 34UC97 to a wall or a desk arm, this is definitely something to be aware of. On the underside of the monitor, there's a set of speakers and a joystick that controls the menu selection and certain functions of the monitor, both of which we'll get into later. But as a whole, the LG 34UC97 looks great and has a somewhat minimalistic design to it. Now, the main feature of the 34UC97 is the curved display, and it's stunning from just about any angle. This is a 10-bit display panel, which can show far more colours than your average display, which usually has an 8-bit panel. The condition to show the full spectrum of colours is that your GPU has to be capable of this output. Now, when we say the full spectrum of colours, we mean 1.074 billion colours via the DisplayPort, as opposed to the 16 million colours you get with an 8-bit monitor. Although how many of these colours you'll actually be able to distinguish is not for me to answer. With the 21:9 aspect ratio, it has a resolution of 3440 pixels by 1440 pixels, and a pixel density of 109 pixels per inch. This resolution gives you ample real estate for your tasks and content on screen. It should go without saying that for word processing, unless you have multiple documents or programs open, it can seem like there's too much screen space that is not utilised. Although if you get your kicks from spreadsheets, this monitor is going to be delightful. However, when it comes to using editing programs like Photoshop or Premiere, this extra space becomes invaluable, whereas previously we'd use multiple screens for the same layout. For the type of content that we produce, it's almost like a godsend. Now onto gaming. Something to bear in mind with 21:9 aspect ratio monitors is that although the vast majority of titles support it, not all games do. If it doesn't, one of two things will happen. Either your game will be squashed and stretched out to fit the screen, or you'll have black bars on both sides. Out of the two scenarios, the latter is definitely the more preferred outcome, as it keeps everything in proportion. If the game does look squashed, then there's a simple workaround, assuming of course you can't change the resolution. Basically go into the menu, then easy control, ratio, and change the option to original, and this should sort it out. When it comes to games that do support a 21:9 aspect ratio, what you're essentially getting with this monitor is an additional 25.6% gaming real estate over a 16:9 ratio monitor, more specifically an extra 12.8% on either side, which may not sound like much, but it's something that has to be experienced to fully appreciate the difference. I definitely felt more immersed in fast-paced games like Battlefield 4 or Crysis 3. This is helped by the curvature of the monitor as the screen wraps around your field of view. Although this monitor is great for productivity and gaming, films, programs and videos in general are not always displayed in the same degree of captivation. The majority of video content is made for a 16:9 screen, so you get black bars on both sides. This isn't really a dilemma since you're not losing anything extra. The problem arises when video content is created with hard-coded letterboxing, rather than cropping the actual footage. And as we've said in our previous ultra-wide monitor reviews, what happens is you get a video that floats in the center, while black bars surround all four sides. This type of content is predominantly found on YouTube and to some extent Netflix as well as other video on demand services. But when you do find video content that can be viewed using the entire screen, then it's very difficult not to get engrossed. Also, because this monitor has a 3440 by 1440 native resolution, 1080p content has to be scaled up to fit the screen, and thus content tends to look a little soft, so 2.5K or 4K content is favoured. The only issue I had with the LG 34UC97 screen was a small amount of light leakage around the top corners, giving a weird yellow tinge. That being said, I only noticed the light leakage when I went looking for it, and when I was looking for it, I only noticed it against colours or shades near black or close to black. However, I didn't feel this light leakage affected my experience overall. When it comes to displaying the content on your screen, you have a few options: Thunderbolt, DisplayPort and HDMI ports. With both Thunderbolt and DisplayPort, the monitor can display content at full resolution at 60Hz. Going back to the speakers we were talking about before located underneath the display, they're reasonable but nothing to get excited about. It feels like they were added to check something off a features list as opposed to being a full feature to wow the consumer. But overall, it's not bad if you just want to pop in a film or listen to some music. Between the two speakers, you'll find a joystick that controls the settings of the 34UC97. I really like this implementation over the button layout found in many monitors. It just feels like a more intuitive way of navigating the menus. When you push it, a circular interface appears, giving you 5 options that you can choose by swiping the joystick in a certain direction, or by pushing it inwards. You can also simply move the joystick left and right to adjust the volume, and then down to mute it. The main menu appears on the right of the screen when selected, and as I said before, is easy to navigate. You can actually go into quite a bit of depth when modifying these settings. If you make any mistakes along the way, there's a handy reset option at the bottom of the main menu that allows you to cancel anything you've done and reset it back to the default configurations. Like the 2 previous monitors that we've reviewed from LG, the 34UC97 also has a split screen function, which you have to download from the LG website. This enables the screen to be divided into 2, 3 or 4 quadrants, as well as being able to adjust the size of each quadrant in most cases. For the most part, this is a useful feature, allowing you to utilize the screen's real estate to maximize productivity. I found myself using the 3-way split screen most frequently, although one thing I didn't like about it was that it always resized each window to the size of the quadrant it was hovering over. I would have preferred it if I could have retained the size of said window when I was moving it instead of it automatically resizing to any and each quadrant it hovered over, and only resize the window to the relevant quadrant once I snapped it into place, similar to how Windows' native split screen function works. If the split screen function isn't always for you, then you do have the option of turning it off. Unlike the 34UM95, the 34UC97 has a curved display. Personally, I like the effect this feature provides, as when I looked from the far left to the far right of the screen, I felt the image was less distorted, as the screen was wrapped around my field of view, whereas normally you'd be on the same plane, which means you'd have to look a little bit further. This may seem trivial, but when you're using a monitor of this size, it genuinely feels like it's helping. I really enjoyed using the 34UC97. Its simplistic design and 21:9 ratio makes using it an incredibly immersive experience. Being a 10-bit display, it has an absolutely fantastic color reproduction, making gaming and watching films absolutely brilliant. When it does come to gaming, just be aware that this has a 60Hz refresh rate, which may not be to everyone's taste, but if you can get past this, I don't think you'll regret this monitor. It's beautifully designed and I think it made me more productive, as well as be more immersed in the games I play and enjoy colour-rich films. Seriously, the flares in the new Star Trek reboot can be seen in a whole new light. For that reason, I'm awarding the LG 34UC97 with the Gaming Tail Disconnected Elite Class Award, and just to be clear, for the immersive experience and not for the Star Trek flares. Thank you for watching everyone. If you enjoyed this video then please be sure to give it a like, and if you want to stay up to date with the latest reviews, subscribe to us on YouTube, and don't forget to change your subscription preferences to be notified when we upload videos, or head over to our website or Facebook, Twitter or Google Plus pages. Once again, thank you to our UK sponsor box.co.uk. So if you're in the UK, be sure to check them out for all your computer needs. For everyone outside the UK, if you're going to buy this monitor or anything else off Amazon, it would be great if you could use our Amazon affiliate links found in the description below. It won't cost you anything extra, but it really helps us out. Thanks again for watching, and as always, have a great day, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.